Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lonely Black Star. It has been a while. Well, honestly, I don't even know if I should say that because I don't know if I'm starting a new channel or I'm just continuing on my already existing channel. There's a lot of complicated things behind the scenes, but regardless, it has been a while because I have been on YouTube, but I just haven't been posting because I just been going through a lot of creative differences in my head. Like I don't know like how I should, present myself or what I really want to like present on YouTube. Like I don't know if I want to do creative things, draw, I don't know. But as I was thinking to myself, I was like, I really like watching movie reviews. So I was like, I might as well try to do movie reviews. It's kind of like, hmm, you watch mad movies, so you might as well try to do some yourself. I'm like, oh, might as well. It's okay. That's what I'm gonna do today. What better thing to do with than go down memory lane and do Monster High? Monster High. That was my show. That was my series. I used to be on the websites, bro. It was deep for me. I was on Monster High, but I had the books too. I was like I never even finished reading those books, but I was fanned out. Like I was so fanned out with Monster High, and it was just like yeah. I was like definitely need to what's it called, get on that. Yeah, but let's get into it. Starting off with the first Monster High movie, New Ghouls at School. Let's get into it. First day of school, we're introduced to Frankie Stein, daughter of Frankenstein, in case you don't know. And she's 16 days old, which and not like going to school when you're just born, like that's crazy. I'm like old you, but then again, she was built to be a teenager, so and what else is she going to do? So you might as well go to school. And honestly, that school kind of like yeah, they be doing like classes and stuff, but their school kind of turned up. I'm not gonna hold you, but school is school. But since she's a new person, like she literally doesn't know what to do. Like so, she relies on this Oracle magazine to tell her like how to be like popular and how to be sociable and all that stuff and socialize or whatever. And she's using this as a guy. She cringely like she introduces herself into a bunch of people as they're transitioning to class or whatever. She'd be like, "Oh hey, my name's Frankenstein." They all look at her like, and well, and they go about their business because like, girl, nobody cares. Like and that's a cringe moment. This happens on a Monday, so the following day though, she is heading to class, and she sees Deuce Gorgon, and Deuce Gorgon, he's the son of Medusa, and he's cute with a little snake mohawk, snake hawk, uh, and she's smitten by him. She's like dreadhead, like she's smitten by him, and because she's distracted, she's standing in like what's it called, the doorway, and there's a student accidentally bumps into her. Slow mo, by the way, his name is Slow Mo. He accidentally bumps into her, and she drops her books, and behind her comes Cleo Denial and Gulia yelps, and Cleo accidentally trips on Frankie. And before I go into that, Cleo denies she's the daughter of the mummies, and Gulia yelps she's the daughter of the zombies. So Cleo, after she trips over Frankie, which is her fault, I mean, I guess it's kind of both of their fault because why you stand in the hallway? I mean, why you stand in the middle of the doorway? And also, she should be watching where she's going. You know what I mean? So she trips over Frankie, and she's annoyed by that, and she told Frankie, okay, now you on the losers list. Now you on the losers list. Like I ain't know you, and now you on the losers list. And then Frankie just accepted. She's just like, I'm like, girl, fight back. like don't fight the girl for it, but like at least say something. Like I don't know, like if I don't know me, I'm gonna, you know what? It's not about me. But anyway, so they take their seat. They're all falling asleep to the lecture, and Frankie, she just reading her oracle, her oracle magazine, trying to figure this social thing out, and still telling her basically to like put herself out there and like do certain things, and and as she's reading, we get introduced to Draculora, the daughter of Dracula. She comes out of nowhere. She's telling Frankie, oh, like she's reading, she takes Frankie's magazine. She's telling her like, "Ooh, the Jonas Brothers," which is a play on the Jonas Brothers and how she likes them and stuff. And Frankie, she barely gets a word in, but she like you. I think we all meet that person. Like they're very like a socialite. Like they just love to like talking. Not saying they like love to hear themselves talk, but they just love to like socialize, and it's just like chatty Cathy's and stuff. And they have like friendly and good energy. And that was basically Draculaura. Like I love me some Draculaura. And as class is dismissed, they end up walking together, and Draculaura, she's kind of hitting Frankie with this new lingo, And it's like Frankie like what? Like it's like cause Frank Dracula she like combines words together to like do this like kid new lingo type thing. It's like it's going over Frankie's head. She's like, girl, I guess. And yeah, so as they're walking down the hallway, they get basically rush. Well, not rush, but like they basically end up in a zombie mob, which basically just zombies in a bunch of zombies in the hallway, and they're walking mad slow, so it's gonna block them off. And they're backed into a corner, and they end up leaning on the door, and they end up falling through the door because now we enter Claudine Wolf, the daughter of the werewolves. She saves them from being locked in by the zombies, and because she opens the bathroom door and they fall in. And Draculaura and Claudine are already friends with each other, and Draculaura introduces Claudine and Frankie to each other. It's that awkward. It's that kind of like that awkward introduction, like like when you meet someone, it's like you're like shy and all that stuff, and it's like, oh hi, like nice to meet you. Oh, I like your stuff. I like it. I stay be going through that like that, like you just overly start complimenting someone when you first meet them, especially when it's a girl. Like it's just like just girl things. It's just like hey, like it's so that's what basically what Dracula and no, that's what Claudine and Frankie are doing to each other, just overly complimenting in an awkward way. As they get more, chatting with each other, they eventually leave the bathroom once the mob has cleared. And, they basically say their goodbyes, and they tell Frankie to reach out to them. But Frankie was like, "Oh wait, I don't got your number." Well, they already left the scene. So now on Wednesday, Frankie's trying to figure out a way to like still like make friends and like join clubs and stuff. So she joins clubs. At first, she joins like the chess club, and I don't play chess, so I don't know I don't know if she did something wrong or whatever, but she ends up screaming and like when she I guess wins. I don't know. And the zombie kids look at her like she's slow. Like I don't know. I don't think she played it right, but they're looking at her like, oh, like so that's a fail. And she tries to do the swim. She tries to join the swim team, and as you already know, she has boats in her neck, so electricity and water do not go together. So she ends up electrocuting the swimmers, and so she runs out. She runs out, just apologizing. And that's a fail. Now we get into her last attempt of club activity, and that is actually let me not say last attempt because she does another one after this. Well, she gets into her second to last attempt of club activity, and that is basically community fundraising or like a community fundraiser type thing. And she's asking people to sign in the hallway, and Cleo denial. She sees this and she's asking. She's like questioning Frankie. What is this about? Frankie's explaining to her. Just community, do something nice. I don't know. And because she's nervous, especially with Cleo, because she knows Cleo's a popular girl, she ends up like rubbing electricity into the pencil. And when Cleo was about to sign, she gives the pencil to Cleo. She ends up electrocuting her, which causes Cleo to be upset more because it kind of like messes up her hair too. And yeah, so she's pissed off, and Frankie already know that's a fail. Like, she just pissed the popular girl off twice. Ooh, the sun. So okay, Frankie's like reflecting on herself. She's just like, dang, like I don't want to be a loser. It's funny because there's a song playing in the background. I actually like that song. I remember when I used to watch this movie like when I was younger. I remember I used to sing the song "We All Have Our Scars." Like I used to sing that. I don't know who sang it. I don't think it's Pink. I could be wrong, but yeah, like she was just really just reflecting on herself. And as she's like pulling herself together by the stitches, quite literally, she sees a fear leading tryout poster, which is a play on the word cheerleading, and she's like, okay, let me join this. Let me go to tryouts. And the moment she goes to tryouts, bro, Cleo Denial is literally the captain of the cheerleading squad. She is she's like which is not surprising because she is the popular girl. She's usually the captain of something. And it's usually the cheerleading squad or team. And also, I mean, besides Cleo and Gulia, Draculaura and Claudine are also part of the fear leading team. So yeah. And okay, so this makes Frankie nervous and all that stuff. Seeing Cleo be the talk, because she already pissed this girl off. So one of those things where like you kind of walking on eggshells. And so Cleo, she starts off she starts showing off her moves and all that stuff. Showing them what basically showing, and then she wants them to the people who are trying out. She wants them to copy what they just see. So she's dancing. They over here doing some tricks, and I was like, oh, nah, I would. and it's funny because like when Cleo and her team finished dancing, the rest like the girls that were about to try out, they literally run out screaming. It's just like they was like, nah, I ain't with that. And Frankie was the only one that stayed, and she was doing it. She was like, and honestly, when I was watching this scene, it reminded me of the website. Like I remember when there was like a fairly named tryout like game on the site, and basically I think you had to click stuff. Like it's been a long time, so I'm trying to remember. I'm unlocking memories, and like I remember like you just basically had to be on time when it comes to certain things. And it's like, oh my god, like if I could find it without getting copyrighted, I'll show it. But yeah, it just reminded me of that. I was like, damn it, things have changed. So as Frankie's doing the moves, when she's about to do the leg part, she lit like her stitches become undone as she raises her leg into the air and her foot falls off. And Julia was standing right next to Cleo with like a drink in her hand. So when her foot came off, it went and hit Julia's drink and it spilled over Cleo. And yeah, and Cleo ended up screaming. She ended up like she was pissed. Like she screamed and shattered the windows. Frankie runs off. She ends up running into like the swimming pool area where then she's crying to herself and feeling like a loser and all that stuff. Like she'll never make friends. And then Laguna Blue, who daughter of like the sea monsters, she sees Frankie crying and she goes to console her, telling her maybe you shouldn't try so hard. Because Frankie was telling her like I wish I could take back this whole week. I hate everything that I did today. I'm trying to like fit in, but it's just not working. And then Laguna's like, maybe you should just be yourself because that's who you are. Like, don't try to change for anything. Laguna basically giving her some real advice. Like, don't change yourself to try to fit in. Just be yourself naturally. And Frankie was like, yeah, yeah, true. And then Frankie was like, that was some good advice. If only I had followed it. Like, nah, that's real. Like, I think I think I did that before. I think I've been on both sides. I give someone good advice, they don't follow it, or someone gives me good advice and I don't follow it. I think we've all been through that. That's real. So as Frankie after Laguna and Frankie finished speaking, Frankie heads back to her locker, and she ends up seeing a magazine again, and it tells her, "Don't be yourself. Being yourself is bad." So she ends up like fantasizing about being the popular girl and all impressing people and all that stuff. And as she's fantasizing about being popular and all that stuff, that's not only is that real, also they were playing a song Friday I'll Be Over You. And it's funny, I remember when I was a kid and I was watching this movie for the first time. I remember because I already heard the song Friday I'll Be Over You, but I forgot about it because I think the song came out in 2008 or something, but I forgot about it. And when Monster High used the song, I was like, oh my god, y'all unlocked the memory. So it's just like, yeah, it's one of those type of moments. That's kind of like a core memory for me. But Friday I'll be over you. So as she's daydreaming, Deuce is asking her like, oh, like your locker door is like kind of blocking my locker. And she was like, oh, she says like, oh my, well, she says my bad, but she kind of reverses by accident. And she's just still smitten by Deuce. He's fine to her, which I can see. Like I understand, like I get it. But yeah, and enters Hope, 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 Heath. Sorry, it's been a minute. Enter Heath, and I'm about to say Heath Ledger. Uh, he's Deuce's friend, and he's basically telling Frankie like, "Ooh, if you were a booger, I'll pick you." Is that really a pickup line? Oh no, you need to go back to the drawing board. And I mess with Deuce. I like Deuce because now this is bare minimum. But I do like that in the scene that he checked his friend by basically turning him into stone. A lot of y'all men need to start doing that. Check out boys, turn them into stone. Like, I tell you to harm that. I just said check them because he's over here making Frankie uncomfortable. And Deuce already told him to chill out, but he kept doing it. He's like, okay, so he turned him into stone and he took him with him. He'll turn back. And that smittens Frankie more. That's like she's like, my man, my man, my man. Like what else is there to it? Like what are we talking about? While Frankie's watching Deuce walk away with Heath, she's like, again daydreaming, and also Draculaura and Claudine approaches her, telling her that Cleo still wants you to like try out, like she still wants you, but you're gonna have to basically do an interview. You're gonna have to do a follow up interview because she still want to see if you got it. Because Cleo was impressed by Frankie's moves, but she just She was just upset at that, but she's giving Frankie another chance. And so Claudine and Dracula told her like, "Girl, you need to be ready. Cleo don't play." And Frank was like, "Yeah, I got 12 issues to read." I'm just like, "Okay, girl." And as they're walking off, you see Laguna looking at Frankie like, she literally shaking her head like, "Damn, girl, you still not being yourself." So following day, Frankie, this Thursday now. Like all that happened on Wednesday. Thursday now. So now she's at school and Claudine, Dracula, they're talking to her like, hyping her up and also like telling her like, think about certain things. Like it really feels like a job interview. Like, damn, it's just for cheerleading. Like, gosh. But this would be important for a high schooler, but so and Dracula mentioned her think about boys that you like. And as she says it, she sees I mean not Dracula, she sees Deuce walking down the hallway. He says hi to her, and again she's smitten. She's smitten. This is gonna be important. I mean all this is important, but this is gonna be important. So now they enter the cafeteria, and the interview goes on. So now it's just Cleo and Frankie one on one. Cleo's just hitting her with all these questions, just like, okay, what kind of slippers do you like? Or no, she's like, what kind of shoes do you like? You like flats, heels, and Frankie like she like both. And she's asking her fashion questions really fast, and Frankie's answering pretty fast, and she's answering it accurately. And her final question, no, actually before that, they both talking about Justin Bieber, which obviously Justin Bieber, and Cleo, she's like, I love Justin Bieber, which everyone looks at her like, oh girl. But yeah, Frankie actually mentioned something. She was like, my father actually resurrected his career, and this is actually gonna be important for later on. But yeah, so after that, Cleo asks her one more question. She's like, boyfriend, and then Frankie, just she sees in her peripheral, Deuce walks in and he waves. Frankie was like, oh, he just walked in. When I tell you not Cleo, Claudine and Jackie Laura. Actually, side note, I hope I'm not twisting up their words because I just realized I feel like I'm saying Cleo and Claudine at the wrong time. But okay, Claudine and Jackie Laura. When Frankie like said it was Deuce, like their mouths are, and Cleo, she broke her neck. She was like, "Who?" And then she turned around. Cleo turned around and see that it was Deuce that she was calling her boyfriend. She's like, "Oh, this interview over. This interview over." And she went up to Deuce, talking about, "We done. We done." Like ain't none of that. Cleo runs out after telling Deuce is over. She runs out crying, and Frankie runs out crying. And Frankie heads back to the pool when she's about to vent to Laguna. And Laguna was like, "Girl, I already know what happened, and you made your choice." And she walks off. And I'm like, "No, I'm not Glee. Laguna, you real for that? Laguna, you real for that? You real for that? That might sound to back. I mean, I don't think I ever thought much of that scene when I was a kid, but like, I feel like maybe other people they might be like, "Oh, how come she didn't want like her to vent?" But I'm just like, I don't know. When someone tells you something, you choose not to listen to the advice. It's like, what do you want me to do? Because I already like I told you, like I let, like, you know what I mean. Especially because they're not friends with each other, so it's like I gave you advice. Like it is what it is. So she real for that. Like some people might not like it, but I get it. I get it. But as she's crying, she also sees that Cleo's also in the pool area, like crying. And Cleo was like, "Oh, girl, go away! He took my boyfriend. Now you still like around." And so Cleo is she's pissed off even more as she walks and she leaves. Now it's Friday, and Frankie just reflecting on herself, like in her mind, just saying how she's a poser, like how she should have just been herself, like she messed it up for everyone and herself, and yeah, she's just apologetic. And as she's at her locker thinking about these things, and she's struggling to get open, but she eventually does, and she sees that there's this magazine of Justin Bieber, and she comes up with an idea. So she's trying to figure out who can help her with this idea. So she goes into the bathroom and she sees Claudine and Draculaura. Claudine's helping Draculaura put on her lipstick because Draculaura doesn't have a reflection. So yeah. And when Frankie enters the bathroom, like they look at her like they'll say nothing to her. They just like uh, that's real, Loki. I get it. I get it because that's messy. Because from their perspective, she probably looks like a messy girl. So Frankie was like, I apologize for like I know I get it. I apologize for like how I was acting, but please give me another chance because I want to like I want to help. I want to help Cleo and Deuce get back together. She asks them for their help, and they agree. So basically, they get so Draculaura and Claudine get Cleo, and Frankie gets Deuce, and they're in the hallway, and Cleo sees them. She's like, "Bro, I'm not doing this with y'all." But Frankie stops her and explains to her, like, I just sorry if y'all hear the train. She basically tells her, like, I this was just me, me just trying to fit in, like me and Deuce We're never dating. We never had anything going on. We never will have anything going on. Sorry about all this. I was just trying to get you to like me." And like she was like, oh. Cleo was like, "Oh, as if." And then she asked, so Cleo asked Dude, like, "Is it true?" And he's like, and so she hugs him. She forgives him because he didn't do anything. But with Frankie, she's like, I still don't like you because why would you do that? But Frankie was like, I still know I hurt your feelings, so I decided to call in a favor. You remember that guy who remember Justin Bieber? Remember how I told you that my father a favor for helping him? Well, guess what? He's here right now in school, and we finna celebrate. So after I don't know how they did this transition, but she showed like she opens the door and she shows that Justin Bieber is there, and Chris is happy. It makes Cleo very happy, and Frankie does explain how she's able to call in this favor, and all well and well. Like she, somehow they end up transitioning into like their outfits, like their party outfits. I remember back in the early days that Monster had they had like their regular outfits and then like their party outfits. This is before like all these new outfits came out. Like it was their initial one. And I forgot all about those outfits because when I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, they used to dress like this, and you could really tell like they were really going for a certain style back then. Everyone's partying, the school party basically out of nowhere, and everyone's dressed up and all that stuff. And so basically, Cleo she tells Frankie like, I forgive you, and you're on probation for the fair leading squad, and I do appreciate this, and that's it. So, but Frankie's telling herself, I don't really need the fear leading squad. I got what I need. I met some true friends along the way, and yeah, like I finally can be myself, and I stopped trying so hard. And that basically is the end of it. Everyone celebrates with each other. They're happy, and the end. So now for my final thoughts. Honestly, when looking back at this movie, I was just like, damn, like nostalgia, nostalgia. Yeah, like nostalgia. Like it was just kind of like I was just really reflecting. Like things have changed so much. Like I love, as I said, I love Monster High, and things have changed so much. And not saying it's a bad thing. Things change. New generation, new things. It's just more so like, gosh, like this. I mean, I've always appreciated Monster High for what it is, but sometimes one of those moments where it's like, damn, I really should have loved you. And again, I was obsessed. Like everyone knew I loved Monster High. My family, my Jamaican family knew I loved Monster High. That was always they stayed mentioning Monster High to me, when I was younger, and my friends knew I liked Monster High. I remember when I was like first entering sixth grade, and I was asking my friend like, "Hey, do you watch Monster High?" She was like, "No." Like, ooh. Yeah, like honestly, I was. It's just really like a. I mean, the movie in itself is basically just a basic movie of like a teenager entering high school and trying to fit in, and just screwing things up, but eventually realizing that I should just be myself and I shouldn't try to fit in because who's gonna be for me will be for me in that in that order. And I do like the message of that, especially for again this because this is for a younger audience. And yeah, and honestly, when it comes to the fashion, as I said, it really does show like the times that they were trying to go for. I'm not a fashionista, so I can't really pinpoint the exact time, but it's given like 70s, 80s type of fashion. It's very eccentric and out there type thing. Because Claudine, she got that that neon green wig, that purple fit. Cleo got this short bob wig going on. It's just like, and I know as a kid, I used to always think to myself, how do you get their hair from like short to long? I was like, how y'all do that? But then I'm just like, okay, it's probably a wig they're wearing. But yeah, like it was just, yeah. Look at the outfits back then. Like I like the regular outfits, but like their party outfit, it was just like, like I don't think I've ever really liked it, but it was like, it was still like a part of the original. So it was like, I like whatever. And yeah, and also with the website, like I'm pretty sure they don't have the website. Or if they did, like it's changed a lot. But I that website, I used to go on that website all the time. Like I used to just like go on my mom's laptop and just like go on monsterhigh.com and just try to figure out like some games to play. I'd be reading up on their new character portfolios and stuff. Like I was deep in it. Like like I was so deep into Monster High. Like I even had the eye coffin, but I ended up giving it away to my niece, and I regret that. Like that's my biggest regret, like giving that away. I asked her if she had it. They said they don't know, and or they don't have it. I was like, ugh, that's my biggest regret. A Monster High character. There is two. But whatever. But whatever. But yeah, like I enjoy this movie and I encourage y'all to check it out. And I'll probably do more other Monster High reviews. And this channel is not just focused on Monster High. Of course, like I'm going to do other movie reviews, but I probably am going to follow up with another Monster High movie. No promises, but yeah. But thank you guys for checking out my channel. Thank y'all for staying with me. Sorry for all my stuttering and all that stuff. I really appreciate y'all for sticking around. If you stayed to watch the whole video, or if you watch half, but really appreciate y'all y'all watch the whole thing. And I thank y'all. Please subscribe, please share, please like, please do all that stuff. No negative comments. Keep it. Y'all can make y'all criticism, but not too much now. Not too much. But thank y'all. Please tune in again. Like I do want to continue on with the series, like with Monster High and also with other different reviews. And I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all.